because like you can still see everything that's going on. You can see that we're working, but not entirely into the game though. But perfect timing, actually, as we are now into the game. We've got game one here of the Requiem Autumn League Best of 2 series here. We are in the group stages, and we've got Synchronized Diving versus the Fighting Methodists. My name is Reach4sKai at sKaiHIGgaming, and I'm joined with Slammin. He's going to be my co-caster today, and we're going to do some casting here of Synchronized Diving versus the Fighting Methodists. So, Slammin, thank you for joining me here. This should be proven to be a pretty exciting game, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, man. So, we don't know much about all of these teams and players in the tournament. This is an amateur league. It's a super fun, exciting venture. I can tell you that as a team averages, Synchronized Diving is going to be around 3K, and Fighting Methodists will be around 3.5. So relatively close in skill level. But now getting into the nitty-gritty of the draft. Synchronized Diving banning out Mirana and Bounty Hunter right now, and those are pretty strong bans. Mirana as a mid laner, or even Bounty Hunter as a roamer. But no Venge or Slark, a little bit curious. Maybe they were anticipating for a Faceless Void themselves, which is the Venge ban, but now they're going to have to be dealing up going against it. So Kunkka and Void is our first 2 pickups here in this tournament. Slammin, what are you thinking about what we're going to have here in terms of synergy with this Void or things of that nature with the Kunkka? You think it's going to be a support or core for the Kunkka?
I definitely think it should be a support or roaming Kunkka. I see it a lot in all the games, and it's such a strong hero. So if you have players that can do the roaming Kunkka, it just does the same thing that Mirana and Bounty Hunter are able to do. It just makes life for the mid extremely difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely agree with that. And Synchronized Diving now looking already committing on 2 big ultimates. We've got Chronosphere and Supernova, both which kind of work well together. Phoenix being able to land primarily all of her abilities in Faceless Void's Chrono, or even being in the egg stuck in the Chrono herself. So that should be a cute little synergy that we'll see in the game. But Fighting Methodists opting for a very defensive pickup here, and kind of negates a lot of the Faceless Void Chrono. Omni Knight, Guardian Angel, that's going to be pretty painful for them. That also forces Faceless Void to have to go into a Diffusal Blade build, which he may not have wanted to previously.
Yeah, definitely. It's Omni Knight's not picked up very often, so when you see it, it's usually at these games where Omni Knight is just such a good pickup because he's able to counter basically everyone. And you should actually just be thankful that you know that the Faceless Void and that you already have a hero that can get the Diffusal Blade. So it's not entirely lost in that case, but it's definitely something you have to play around as well.
So we've got some more bans coming out here. Synchronized Diving going to be looking into their 3rd ban, then 4th. Getting rid of the PA, so they want to get rid of things that have a ton of burst right now. And I would say that they would also want to be wary of things that have a lot of lockdown too. So Synchronized Diving may want to get rid of things like Sven and the nature of that. But the Fighting Methodists already with 2 strength cores. This could maybe make it a good setup for Synchronized Diving to go for a Timber Saw even.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's interesting that they choose to ban the Juggernaut for the case of the Fighting Methodists. Juggernaut's not really one of those heroes that synergizes extremely well with Faceless Void, so I'm kind of shocked they aren't more scared of ranged heroes such as even the Gyro, who's not very strong, but definitely the Morphling.
So in games that I've already been casting, I have seen Juggernaut getting banned a lot against Faceless Void. I think one of the reasons for this, and also I have seen Juggernaut ran against Faceless Void, is that his ultimate can be used in the Chronosphere. So Void could be killing someone in a Chrono, Juggernaut could not be in the Chrono, and then he could ult into the Chrono.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's, in cases like that, it's such a misplay on the Void's part, though. And if you're lucky enough to have Time Walk up those, you can kind of just shrug off a lot of that Omni slash damage. So in terms of, and with Bash going through the Blade Fury, I don't think it's the worst matchup. So Drow's still in the pool, and I think that's a hero that synergizes way more well with the Faceless Void than a Jug does.
Well, I wouldn't say that it synergizes with the Void, so much more of being able to benefit from the Chronosphere, because think about it, they really need to get value from the Precision Aura, so they need to have more ranged heroes backing it up than just a Phoenix. And Phoenix really isn't going to be right-clicking anyway. Now, I'm kind of curious about this Timbersaw ban from Synchronized Diving, because that could have been something strong for them themselves to run against Fighting Methodists with these two players that have already been shown. And Timbersaw does well in the Chronosphere on his allied team, but I guess, you know, Devil's Advocate, he would do well against Void in his Chronosphere if he was on the enemy too. So just a couple ways that you could kind of look at it.
Maybe they don't want to worry about having to take the Timbersaw mid or something. Maybe they already have the idea that this is an off lane Void, and they don't want to run a safe lane Void if they have to put the Timber off. And maybe the mid player's just not comfortable playing a Timbersaw mid. Especially if you were to pick it up, you don't know what you would be going mid against, and that just gives Fighting Methodists a way better chance to counter it with their picks.
Well, we've got Fire and Ice out of Synchronized Diving. Phoenix and the Frost Maiden. So if this Phoenix is ran as like a 4 or a 5, with Void being off lane, they'll be able to get some farm all across the map. They can do it as a 2-1-2. I've seen all sorts of interesting laning with how players in this, you know, tournament as a whole have been doing it. Whether it's like a 3-1-1 or pulling out these eclectic tri-lanes that are just hard to deal with, so then they don't know how to like rotate their teams appropriately because of that. So although Phoenix could be ran in a dual lane with Void, you know, Crystal Maiden could be off in the jungle. It could easily be a solo Phoenix or a solo Void too, in the off lane at least.
Yeah, definitely. It's really interesting things. Synchronized Diving have really set themselves up for a lot of team fight potential with how well their ultimates can all work together, but it really relies on good positioning from all of them. And I just think Kunkka does such a great job against Crystal Maiden, because if you get in early X marks, you can stop the ulti, or the same thing with Torrent. But Invoker coming out, and I think that's having an Invoker player in this league, and if the hero makes it past the ban stages, you've got a lot of good chance, because that's a lot more AoE coming out with an Invoker on top of the Faceless Void.
You know, I've actually seen Invoker in probably 3 of the 4 games I've casted. So I think we're going to see lots of Invokers, but he's not going to be these first phase pickups, and he's not really going to get banned out. He is going to get picked up later in the draft, because in both of the games that I've casted previously, it was an Invoker as a 3rd pick and an Invoker as a 5th pick. So like, he's just not being put as a heavy priority because you're not going to anticipate him getting picked up on either team. I'm kind of curious with Fighting Methodists right now, because they have a very defensive draft with this Omni and Winter Wyvern. They're going to really need to pull out some huge damage to benefit here. They can't throw it all in on the Kunkka, because Kunkka's not going to be able to fulfill like a huge core role in terms of the continual DPS that he's going to be putting out. It's going to be much more of like a burst sensation, whereas Synchronized Diving is going to have a mixture of the burst magic damage and then a ton of physical damage coming out at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. Now that they pick up the Winter Wyvern, it actually just opens up the fact that this is going to have to be a core Kunkka somewhere. So it's going to be maybe an off-lane Kunkka, or maybe this is a core Omni Knight with them picking up a Viper. I'm not really sure how the lanes work out for them.
Viper definitely going to be in the mid lane, and Fighting Methodists right now, this is looking to me like they're looking to deathball. They're like, all right, let's just get a mech and push. And push and push. And Viper against Carl, it's going to come down to a player versus player prospect. I would kind of anticipate the Invoker being Omega Man. You know, he would be the 4K player on their squad. And Fighting Methodists go for a Pudge? All right, I've got nothing. I've got nothing.
This is the drafts where what we're saying is it's just 5 people who are good friends. They come into a tournament and, you know, they're not looking to play necessarily try hard Dota, but they're going to kind of throw out some new strat thing. So I don't know what the lanes are going to look like, except for the mid Viper. And even then, it's very possible I could be wrong.
What is this nonsense? How are they going to lane this? How are they going to make it so their guys are going to be able to get farm? One of their lanes is just going to get crushed. I feel like they just won't be able to stand on their own well enough. You know, when you're looking at, as a whole at their lanes, like Omni, like they're gonna have a dual melee lane. at some point, and I think Synchronized Diving are going to be able to just kind of roll over them. Although, Fighting Methods, they've got some clown here. Do they have some cheese to go with that ham? Maybe it should have gone the other way around. Whatever! Regardless, we're getting into it. Game 1 of Best of 2 series. Fighting Methodists versus Synchronized Diving. Who are you going to put it in on?
I think I'm going to have to put it on Synchronized Diving right now.
I just want to see Fighting Methodists do it. I just want to see it now. Do it, man. Maybe make I want it. I want it. Yeah?
I think the game's gonna rely on this Pudge just getting out of hand for him to just do that much better than the Invoker. So it looks like Omega Man is gonna be playing the Faceless Void. So
all right, so they're putting their highest MMR player on the Void, but okay, we've got an early smoke coming out for Team FM and in the bottom. BO2 Fan going to be their Viper this game. Melting Pot of Friendship on the Kunkka. Following it up, we've got All Summer SB on the Winter Wyvern. ZNN on the Omni Knight. And Psionic is going to be our fat bastard going off for some hooks this game. You want to give us a quick rundown of the Dire, sir?
All right. On the Invoker, we have X Savor. We have Omega Man on the Faceless Void. Mice playing the Phoenix. Booze Hounds on the Silencer. And I whisk my hair back and forth on the CM.
I whisk my hair back and forth. You just gotta do it at least once, okay? Whatever.
I believe I had seen him saying something how his name was a little longer before, so I think he had to go through a quick little name change. But I think Dire.
Well, FM, they've got an early ward dropped in the enemy jungle, and they're gonna slowly pincer around right now. They're gonna try and approach them. And from the high ground down, this is going to be really dangerous for the Dire right now, because they don't see any of this. High ground advantage is a real thing. Psionic's going to be able to lead it off with the Rotten, with the Arctic Burn as well. There's the heal. Boost Hound might go down as an early first blood before the Horn. Psionic, he's going to take some heavy damage. The X marks the spot is not going to be enough there. Psionic actually going down as the first blood to Invoker. And now the pressure's coming on BO2 Fan. He's going to get Frostbit back, and everyone's just going to kind of disengage at this point. Boost Hound miraculously lives. Does not get intelligence from it. However, Salve really early wasted in this game.
Yeah, and it's looking like this is going to be a core silencer.
And Invoker getting first blood. Void having 800 gold. Oof. This is going to be kind of rough, but here we go, guys. Game 1. Now, we've got a Kunkka matchup with an Invoker, and the Kunkka went for X marks the spot as level 1, so he's going to have a little bit of a difficult time farming early in. He's going to kind of hang back and get that level 2 before he's going to have more impact in lane, and then, even still. So right now, in the top lane, though, we've got a Pudge Omni Knight dual lane against a Silencer and a Crystal Maiden. What do you think about that?
I think Dire definitely have the much better and easier chance at zoning out the Radiant heroes, but the problem is if Pudge gets a hook on either of these heroes, they're just so slow. And between Repel and Purification, I think every time we get a hook, it's going to be a death or it's going to be going back to base.
Oh no, I agree. With the Rot on top of the Digenora, it's going to be pretty silly. It's going to be death.
Repel making Pudge not slow and making sure that he doesn't take any damage from Rot. It's one of those cheese strats that you saw from the draft that's what they're banking on.
Well, we'll see. BO2 Fan is doing the solo safe lane. Summer SB doing a little bit of pulling in the lane. So I guess it's not really solo, but he's leaving him on his own mischief to deal with the Void and the Phoenix. And now Void doing a little bit of aggression in the jungle. He's going to jump to remove all that damage off of him, and off away he goes. I think Omni-Knight's going to try and do an early rotation in mid. He's coming up on behind Exivore. He has the Arcane Rune on him. He's trying to chase him down. He has the heal if he wants it. Oh no, he opts for the Repel. I would have healed it. He's got the Arcane on himself, 60 mana heal, but that would have been just like some cheap harassment damage he could have gotten off. Or that's the way I view it.
Invoker building that Midas. going straight into that.
Oh, yeah. Well, with him getting first blood, definitely. All right, Psyonix. He's running off. He gets the hook off on Boozhound. There's following up with the repel. With the rot, is Boozhound actually able to run out of this? He's got boots first. I think he's going to get away. Yeah. Oh, man. He just walked away. Look at that.
Yeah.
Gone. Nothing like you can do. Crystal Maiden, a little bit of harassment coming out of her. She's not level 2 yet, and she's relying on... Uh-oh, now she got hooked by Psionic. The heal's going to be out, and Wisp My Hair back and forth. Going to fall down to Psionic. Boozhound now left alone in the lane, taking really heavy fire from this creep wave that's pushed in. He's down to 130 HP at this point, and the creep wave is still aggressing. I would love to see Pudge come in and get a hook. He's just sitting in the tree line. ZNN, he's looking for something. He's trying to dive in with the creep wave. He was trying to get a heal bomb off on one of those creeps that were deep, but now the tower swung back on him. And oh, wow, he's down to 100 HP. Psionic able to pull him out of from a bad spot. But Boozhound now, 35 HP. He's just been getting right-clicked down by these creeps the whole time. 40 HP on him now with the Tango. He almost died to creeps. Just creeps.
Yeah, I think that Pudge is sitting on 900 gold right now, so I think if he gets those boots first, they can just continue being extremely aggressive and keep on trying to get those cheesy kills. Really good hook by Pudge, saving his Omni Knight right there. He definitely would have died from the tower had he not done that.
Yeah, unfortunately, mostly misplay on part by these players here. Going for a blind hook, and it's not going to connect, so we'll have at least 15 seconds before we need to catch up on that lane. So in the bottom, though, Bisu Fan and Mega Man. Oh, jeez, are they diving again? ZNN, he's going to repel himself out. Now he's running away. Mice, mice, mice. Great rotation in by him. Already using the swoop. Trying to continue the pursuit. Silencer now able to salve up, and down goes the Omni Knight. Great rotation coming in by the Laser Dog Phoenix.
Perfectly timed blast word to get the kill on them. Getting that easy +2 intel.
He's going to need all he can, especially if he's able to sap it away from Omni Knight. Such a mana-dependent hero. Needs every int piece he can have it there. And Faceless Void doing a little cheesiness. Stealing that large scamp from him if he can. Pulling it into his creep wave. This will kind of help with his creep equilibrium on his side. Hopefully, Radiant react appropriately to this, and they're able to disrupt that pull or get some of those last hits for themselves. I'm kind of surprised that this Kunkka and Invoker lane is going as well as it is. Kunkka's farming relatively freely at this point. He's got 16 last hits, although Invoker having that 8 deny lead on him is definitely unfortunate, and Invoker has the Midas coming out on the courier right now.
He has boots coming out, no Midas
Oh,
yet.
wait, what? Oh my god, I was assuming he was going to buy that Midas. Damn, okay. Misspoke. I was just like looking at the net worth chart and like, alright, wait, he's going to have that Midas soon. The courier's coming mid, but no. Choosing Aya to just slow down his Midas a little bit. He's got a Mango for burst situation.
I think it's good for him to get the boots. If you have that Omni Knighted Pudge come down to the mid lane, if he doesn't have boots, he's dead. So at least boots gives him a chance to maybe run away. He's able to get some good cold snap procs off.
Yeah, but they've got X marks a spot. So if Kunkka's in good positioning, you know, first and foremost, then they'll be able to get a guaranteed hook every single time of X into hook. Oh, Phoenix getting a great swoop and grabbing that bounty rune. I love doing that.
Timing on that's pretty perfect. Phoenix throwing another ward down so that Invoker doesn't really have to worry about any ganks coming from the top off lane.
Yeah, Viper's just been free farming in bottom. He's got his treads finished at this point. Probably pick up an Aquila too. And then I would hope that they would go to, you know, start to pressure on the tower, or if he's not already starting to work on the mechanism, that'd be ideal for them to really have a lot of pressure into this early to mid-game phase.
Yeah, mechanism or drums, I think, possibly.
Kunkka X-marking himself, going back to the base and then TPing back in. I love that cheekiness. It's fun. I think they're going to try... I don't know. Kunkka's just doing a little bit of harassment damage in mid. Mice, 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 trying to do something there, throwing out some fire blasts. He's trying to help this Invoker get more farm, but I don't think it's going to be as successful. Oh, meanwhile on top, totally missed this kill of Pudge on Silencer. I saw there was some repel shenanigans happening.
Yep, that's what I was talking about. That repel on top of that Pudge rot, it's just gross to have to go against.
Yeah, and previously Phoenix was trying to TP top, but then canceled the TP after the death had already occurred. I think it's interesting that SD does not have so much lockdown coming out of them, and then also, like, this Crystal Maiden is pretty much only pulling the small camp and then running back in to defend this Silencer, because Silencer isn't really able to solo lane against this. And this makes it so Crystal Maiden can't really jungle to try and get in a little bit more experience in gold earlier on. It would have been nicer for SD to draft something that could take the lane by himself.
Yeah,
or have the ability to early on, you know, something like that.
Yeah, picking up a core silencer, like that's just what you get. Is he has no way of any sort of lane sustain. He's not very good at one-on-one scenarios, or especially on two-on-one scenarios, which he finds himself in. So
yeah, Psionic just a little bit off the mark with this hook.
But a level 6 Pudge with a level 5 Omni Knight. Those are just they're just getting so much more of this, out of this off lane than I think SD is getting in theirs.
Yeah, Omega Man is staying alive, but he's getting zoned out pretty consistently. And now Bisuvan choosing to be really aggressive on here. Time dilation is going to be there. They're going to go out on him. Omega Man absolutely dead. I was going to say he would have another jump in a couple seconds, but he had already jumped so early previously. Now we've assembled 3 of Team SD in the top. Hook is going to be a little bit off the mark, so that it's not going to land. I whisk my hair back and forth. Is he going to pull the lane again? Yeah, it looks so. Viper almost has his Dragon Lance, so they are going to run him a little bit heavier as a carry rather than my perception of him going more towards a mech and then them pushing. Because right now, surprisingly enough, this laning phase is going fine for them. If we're checking out the net worth as a whole... Uh-oh, meanwhile they got a hook on Mice. Immediately dead. The Dismember follow-up, the heal, nothing they could do. Yeah, so as I was saying, net worth like 3K in FM's favor comparatively to SD right now.
Just almost 600 damage in just pure burst before anything else comes up from the rot between the Omni Knight and the Pudge. It's just ridiculous. It's so good that they're able to have this much control in this lane.
Omega Man jumping in on All Summer SB. He's doing a lot of damage. Not level 6 though. There will be no Chronosphere. Sunstrike just a little bit off the mark. And Winter Wyvern just going to heal himself up. Omega Man just trying to hit him. It's kind of funny to watch this engagement because he's just like slowly going away. It didn't even comment on the fact that that Sunstrike landed after Invoker was already dead.
Oh,
so it was just like...
I didn't even see it died. That's so...
Yeah, Kunkka doing some work. He's able to kill him. Mice getting hooked immediately again. The Silencer ult follows. Just remember, won't be able to be there for him, but he's so slow. He's just going to go down again. And, geez, this is a sad, sad Phoenix. Such a sad laser dog, already having 2 deaths in the game.
2 deaths, 11 minutes in and no boots. He's definitely having a hard time. He's living that PPD life, position 6.
Alright, so a little bit past the 11-minute mark now. Viper at 4,400 net worth. Pudge right behind him at 3,600. And then it's Kunkka. So we've got the top 3 earners all being from the Fighting Methodists. Synchronized diving in a little bit of a rough spot if you take a look over. And their supports are so far behind at this point. 800 gold on the Laser Dog. 1,600 gold on Crystal Maiden. And they're just fishing for hooks in the top lane. They're just food. They have this ward to show them out, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to hit them still with these fishing. And looks like they already cut down all these trees too. You see that?
I do see that. Does one of them have a?
I think that's just from Tangos. I don't know. I don't see a Quelling Blade on Pudge or Omni. That had to have been Tangos gradually. I didn't even notice that. Is this on purpose? I don't know if this is on purpose or not.
I couldn't imagine, because, I mean, yeah, it's nice to be able to, like, come up and around them, but if you hook them through that,
uh-oh, Crystal Maiden getting hooked again and immediately dead. Oh, Jesus, this hook dismember into the purification. She can't do anything about it.
Pudge is gonna, once he starts putting his points into Flesh Heap, he's just gonna come out with like 7 or 8 stacks.
It's gonna be at least 5. We know that right now. So back in on the mid lane. Invoker now level 9. So he has a pretty big peak in front of him. He has the capability of these level 2 Forge Spirits getting double out. And then he has Wex as well. So he can Ghost Walk for Escape if he needs to. He's sitting on 1,600 gold right now, and these Gloves of Haste still have not been upgraded into anything. So, although we maybe originally perceived him going for a Midas Rush, which he could have definitely had before the 10-minute time period, he kept investing in all these other items. And now, look at him. 13 minutes and no Midas still picked up on him.
And he's still behind the Kunkka.
And he has 1,700 gold. What is he doing at this point? Is he going for, like, Boots of Travel as his first item, and then a Midas? I'm just trying to figure out where he's putting all his money, because it's just sitting there right now.
He definitely needs to put it into a Midas. I mean, he's playing behind. I don't know if he can really feel that.
Uh-oh, bit of a fight coming out on top. Silencer roll is going to go. Psionics now going to get hit by the Chrono Man by Omega Man. Guardian Angel is going to follow, and the Purification. Psionics probably going to go down, though, but still kept alive. Great Egg going to be able to kill 1 there, and the follow-up on Omni Knight is going to make it 2. Crystal Maiden doing the dance of her people as well. Are they going to be able to continue following up on All Summer SB? I don't think so, but I'm surprised we didn't see a winner's curse in that fight. That could have maybe helped turn the tide for at least a disengagement on their end to not lose 2.
Yeah, definitely. Winter Wyvern could have thrown a little bit more out. Kind of weird him going to choose for a second point in Arctic Burn instead of another point in Splintering Blast. It's not a lot of damage coming out of the other team. It's just they were able to perfectly line up that Phoenix ulti, and it stopped the Dismember right when it started. So there wasn't anything they could do. But Pudge also choosing to go for that Hood of Defiance right away. So
Invoker did just get his Midas 1440 roughly. All right, so as Bisu fan just continues to pressure the bottom lane, Omega Man is in a pretty bad predicament. He's going to have to disengage, and Viper will take the tower. As we get to the 15-minute mark, let's get a quick item recap on everybody. Viper has already completed the Dragonlance and is following up on the Mechanism. That will be completed relatively shortly. Pudge already have the Hood of Defiance. Kunkka maybe transitioning towards a Shadow Blade, or that Claymore could go towards a Battle Fury. To be determined. I think Shadow Blade would probably be a better kit for him in this situation. And then, we just got some Soul Ring casual support items on the Winter Wyvern and the Omni Knight. But on the flip side for SD, Silencer opting for Shadow Blade as well on him. And then, across the board, really just looking at boots and some basic sustain items there, branches in the 4th. So, not really looking in the best position for the entirety of SD. But now Boozehound caught out of position by Psionic and All Summer B. He's going to get dismembered, and another kill going his way. He's got to be at, like you said, he's got to be at least 8 Flesh Heap at this point. I don't even know. We know it's at least 6, yeah.
So
there's more, there may be more, but we know it's at least 6.
Yeah, this Viper just really strong, 1,300 health right now, on top of the fact that you have an Omni Knight with Repel. It's just really hard to fight into. Kunkka did build that Shadow Blade, so they're going to have all the T1s done now.
Yeah, that's pretty bad for SD. Take a look at the gold worth right now. A little bit over 5k in their favor for FM. Closer to 7, 6, 7. Wow, yeah, it's still climbing. So that is awesome for them. They're able to assert their dominance pretty nicely here. And with this newly acquired Mechanism soon to come on the courier? Question mark? Nope, still on the courier because he didn't have slots. Uh-oh, we've got a hook on Omega Man, and he's going to get dismembered down, too. Oh, back on the end, we've got an egg coming out, and Psionics is going to get caught by the Chronosphere, and the Guardian Angel is not going to hit everybody. All Summer SP is going to fall as well. We've got a giant laser and the Crystal Maiden ultimate following. Big boat going to hit on 2, and that's going to take Crystal Maiden out of the fire. Boozehound may go down 2. Giant cleave coming out of Kunkka, and he's going to be able to take down 2 with ZNN being able to follow up. And in the end, Bisu fan able to kill Phoenix also. So 5 for 2 exchange. Huge engagement. Check out that fight recap. 1,500 gold for FM. Big loss. Huge XP swing. And we know what the winners of that fight were.
That fight started off so well. There was such a great chrono on 3 people, and Invoker was able to come up right away and basically take out that Winter Wyvern as well. And just by killing the Pudge, like there's so much gold into that hero that you really getting those kills, but after you lose, like the mech just salvaged that fight entirely. Viper wasn't caught in the chrono, so he was able to just constantly dish out damage on all of the squishy heroes.
Uh-oh, SB's in a bad situation. Boozehound has found him. The curse is of the silence is on him, and now he is extremely low. Are they going to be able to follow him off with a couple more hits? A lot of magic damage being gone on him. Repel is there with the heal. They can't hurt him right now. Kunkka trying to do something on Boozehound. The X was there. The Cleave doing so much damage to all three of them, but not able to finish anyone off. Hook on Phoenix. He's going to go down. Boozehound goes down too. That's a double kill, both in Omni Knight's favor. And now they're going to be able to continue their aggression. They're going to be able to push the top lane. SD's in a pretty rough spot. I mean, we looked at this game at the beginning, and we looked at these drafts, and we were like, go in SD's favor. At least that's what you said, and I said I wanted to believe the meme. I wanted to believe, and here I am believing. The melting pot of friendship that Kunkka holds for his team. The victory is coming in front of you, my friend. I'm believing. I said it at the beginning, and here we are, 15-6 at the 19-minute mark at this point.
You know, it just doesn't matter who wins the draft if you can't execute in lanes. And you just saw in the laning stage, Fighting Methodists just single-handedly winning every single lane, even when their smoke gank didn't go out in their favor. And what is it? Synchronized diving they just couldn't capitalize on it. Fights just didn't go their way, and even though they're fighting around the chronosphere, they're just not getting the kills that they need to come back from this.
Yeah, right now, it would probably be in, I would say, FM's best nature to keep up their aggression, maybe take a Roshan. They're an early to mid-game sort of team. They're not going to be able to take it late. Aside from whatever sort of cheese that Kunkka can pull out with the Guardian Angel backing him up, if you look at it, this Void, this Invoker, this Silencer, they will all eventually get scary. But it's eventually. Like, that's sort of like a long-term known thing. But at this point in the game right now, it's not really much. Because look at them all right now. 5,600, 4,500, 4,500 net worth on them. And then they're going up against players that have literally double, with the Viper sitting a little over 9k at this point.
Yeah, that's what it's so hard to play against heroes like this, because even though you have the Midas factor on that Invoker, and he should always be able to split push out the lanes, so he should be getting he should scale extremely well into this team. The problem is just they don't have any map control as they lose their last T2.
Here we go, 20 minutes, no tier 2 towers available for SD. They're kind of scared right now. If we look, in the base, Phoenix and Silencer grouped up, Crystal Maiden roaming about. Only Exiver and Faceless Void willing to try and be off and about trying to farm the jungle. And even that is with some hesitance. And now FM, recognizing their superior game presence right now, they're going to take a Roshan. I don't think SD is going to let them. They've smoked up. Yeah. There's a scan coming out of the Radiant. Uh-oh, it's going to show. They know that something fishy's up. What's going to happen now? Oh, we've got a jump in by Omega Man. The Chrono's going to go out, and the Silencer ult. Sunstrike's going to come out on Melting Pot of Friendship. He's going to go down. Crystal Maiden on the back end doing her sing and dance, and Ultimate as well. Supernova on the other side. All Summer SB getting hit with a big old bash, and now this fight went all in SD's favor. Omega Man going to hopefully be able to undo some damage. Dismember not going to fly. There's the laser coming out, and ZNN hitting that ultimate button way too late. Down goes the Crystal Maiden, and now it looks like SD is on the approach. Are they going to be able to get out? No. Oh my god. For a fight going so well in their favor at the beginning, now they're dead. That happened so quickly. Yeah, this fight recap, oh my. 1,200, 600, the experience swing, huge again. So much damage coming out of SD, but it didn't even matter. This pure damage, this Guardian Angel, all of the heal from FM, and the lack thereof from SD. I think that's really a big game fighter in these fights. FM has sustain, SD doesn't. They've got heals. They've got auras.
Yeah. You have an Omni Knight who's got max level repel, max level heal, end of lats. On top of Viper having a mech, you you don't die. There's almost no damage coming out of anyone except for the Invoker with his Meatball and Sunstrike.
Yeah, and from SD side, they're relying on an urn that has no charges right now and a laser, and that's it. You know, so unfortunately enough, they aren't able to take these fights in the same sort of way. They need to get pickoffs. They need to try and get strategic fights based on all their ultimates, but then even still, they had all of their ults in that fight. They went into that fight, they used all their ults, and they weren't successful. So the way that they approach them also needs to be completely different too. This Faceless Void needs to get a Blink Dagger. They need to be trying to get these pickoffs 100% in their favor, getting these Chronos off and getting the final kills that they need. And Psionic able to get a hook in the end and pull out that Invoker. Man, 12 Flesh Heap is where Pudge is at right now. Just as an FYI.
Yeah. If Synchronized Diving wants to come back from this game, they can't be getting picked off like this. The saving grace of all of their fights is that Silencer's living through, and he is getting at least 2 to 4 intel every time that they lose these fights. So Silencer's kind of like the LC in the fact that so long as you just hold out...
Oh no, Omega Man just got hooked again, but he was able to jump back into the base. Not fast enough on that Dismember. That could have been bad.
Chronos up, so once Invoker gets up, I think it's very important that SD tries to...
FM's going fishing. They're just going fishing. That's it. Bisufan is being very aggressive onto the high ground, recognizing that they can't do anything to stop it, because look, what stuns are we going to have at SD? We've got Frostbite, we've got a Chrono lockdown, and then it's onto this Invoker, so they can't do much to help with that. You know, if someone gets attacked and you're like, all right, well, I can walk away.
Just make sure they don't get hooked. FM has very little sieging ability, so even though they have this, they're just letting their towers die against this Viper, and he's not exactly strong against towers.
I just love that this character's name is Mice Mice Mice. And he's playing Phoenix. So his name is about a dog, and he's playing a dog. If you didn't know, Phoenix is a dog. All animals in Dota are dogs.
Mice?
His name's Mice Mice Mice. A mouse is a dog.
A mouse is a dog because
all
animals are dogs?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You've figured it out really quick. So we got a Chronosphere out here. I whisk my hair back and forth with the big dancer for people as well. Big Deafening Blast and the Sunstrike is going to be off the mark, and Bootshound going to fall. Great ultimate by the Winter Wyvern, able to take her out of the play. And now, again, they're on the defense. They're taking these bad fights on the low ground, when realistically it's high ground or bust. And now, because they chose to take that fight on the low ground, they're getting punished severely. Triple kill on their favor now. There's the hook on the Invoker, too. And Invoker now going to go down. Godlike on the Viper.
I didn't believe. You didn't
believe.
I didn't know that.
I believed.
I just didn't expect the Omni Knight into Pudge lane to just work out so well, because they truly just didn't have an answer for it. And the two heroes that they pick for that lane just get destroyed since they're so slow.
Oh, Pudge is planting trees. He's planting some trees. Just some happy little trees. Uh-oh, Sonics is getting punished for planting trees now. Omega Man doesn't want any of that. He's going for blood. We've got a repel on him now as well. And he's going to try and... Nope, no deny. He's dead.
No deny with repel.
Yeah, he was trying to. Maybe ZNN didn't want him to have that death. You think they can turn it in their favor now? I don't know about that. Bisufan going to try and get back. Here comes the torrent. Here comes the boat. Here comes the hit! And oh my god, Bootshound almost one shot, but Crystal Maiden did. Finally, we got a Meatball Deafening Blast thrown out as well. ZNN trying to do something here. Xavier running back into the base. And Omni Knight buying sentries.
Random kill.
Oh, man. Hey, man, that's what happens when you are coming out of a Shadow Blade, hitting with a Tidebringer, and then your Daedalus procs. Look, 734 crit. And that was without the Shadow Blade. As strong as we had anticipated, or you had anticipated, SD's draft as being, the execution wasn't there. So sometimes it shows that in the end, you need to draft much more so on the players of your team and ease of execution strategies and heroes, much more than this greater finesse, because there was a little bit of gimmickiness to SD's draft. Let's be real about it. Synchronized diving was looking to be synchronized. They had a chronosphere they're relying on, and meanwhile they got it off on 2. Here comes the supernova as well. I whisk my hair back and forth with the big ultimate, but Bizufan and ZNN, they're going to be healed up. It's going to almost do nothing to them. ZNN is silenced. No Guardian Angel for them just yet. Here comes the boat. It's going to land on 3. 1 going to go down. There goes Omega Man 2. Oh, mice. He's going to fall, and there goes the GG. Well played. Godlike.
Yeah, as you said before, it's all about executing. And even though we saw the fights just start off so well so many times for synchronized diving, even when they went off, they still died. The Pudge was constantly killing everyone. He was getting perfect hooks, getting a lot of pickoffs, and just the aggression couldn't be met.
Well, congratulations to the Fighting Methodists for taking Game 1 in this Best of 2 series, and we will be back with you shortly with Game number 2 of the Best of 2 series, so stay tuned for that. So that's pretty exciting.